You know what nobody tells you about confidence. It's not about believing in yourself. I know that sounds backwards. Every self-help book, every motivational speaker, every well-meaning friend has told you the opposite. Just believe in yourself more. Think positive. You're amazing just the way you are. And you tried it. You stood in front of the mirror and repeated affirmations. You worked on your mindset. You pushed yourself to feel more confident. And maybe it worked for a little while, until someone challenged you in a meeting, and your voice wavered, until you watched someone less talented get ahead because they carried themselves differently, until you realized that what you felt inside didn't matter if the world wasn't responding to it. Here's the truth that changes everything. The most powerful people you know aren't powerful because of how they feel about themselves. They're powerful because of how they make others feel about them. That's what Niccolo Machiavelli understood 5 centuries ago. Something that will transform your life if you're willing to hear it. Confidence isn't an emotion you cultivate. It's a weapon you forge. It's a shield you carry. It's a strategy you execute. Machiavelli lived in Renaissance Florence, where one wrong move meant exile or death. He watched princes and politicians rise and fall, and he discovered something critical. Real confidence has almost nothing to do with your internal state. It's not about feeling strong. It's about appearing unshakable. It's not about eliminating doubt. It's about never letting doubt show. It's not about being fearless. It's about making sure your fear is invisible to everyone who might exploit it. This is radically different from what you've been taught. Modern advice tells you to work on yourself from the inside out. Machiavelli's approach works from the outside in. Control the perception first. Master how you show up. Build the external structures of confidence. And when the world treats you like you're powerful, something shifts inside. When people respond with respect, you internalize that respect. Strategic confidence creates real results. An authentic confidence follows. Today, you're going to learn 7 principles that'll make you dangerously confident. The kind that shifts rooms when you enter, that ends debates before they start, that makes people respect you before you've said a word. Your transformation starts now. Number 1. Never explain yourself to small minds. Here's where most people lose their power without even realizing it. They explain themselves to everyone. Someone questions your career choice, and you launch into a detailed defense. Someone doubts your decision, and you provide evidence like you're on trial. Someone doesn't understand your path, and you exhaust yourself trying to make them see what you see. This feels like communication. It feels like you're being open and honest. But what's actually happening is a subtle transfer of power. Every time you explain yourself to someone who hasn't earned that explanation, you're asking for their approval. And the moment you ask for approval, you've placed yourself beneath them. Machiavelli watched this pattern destroy leaders. He saw princes lose kingdoms, not because they made wrong decisions, but because they couldn't make decisions without consensus. They needed everyone to understand, to agree, to validate their choices, and in that need, they became weak. Everyone sees what you appear to be. Machiavelli wrote, "Few experience what you really are." This is crucial. Most people will never understand your full complexity, your complete reasoning, your deepest motivations, and they don't need to. What they need to see is certainty. What they need to experience is your unwavering commitment to your path. Think about how this plays out in real life. Someone challenges your business idea. The average person responds with justifications, market research, competitor analysis, personal passion, risk mitigation. They're trying to convince. But in trying to convince, they reveal doubt. If you were truly certain, you wouldn't need to convince anyone. Now imagine responding differently. Someone challenges your idea, and you simply say, "I appreciate your perspective. I'm moving forward with these." That's it. No defense, no justification, no plea for understanding. Just calm, unshakable certainty. What happens psychologically in that moment? The challenger is left holding their doubt alone. They expected resistance they could push against. Instead, they found a wall that doesn't argue. It simply stands. And walls that don't argue eventually stop being challenged. This doesn't mean becoming arrogant. Arrogance is loud and defensive. It says, "I'm better than you." Dangerous confidence is quiet and secure. It says, "I know my path." Whether you understand it is irrelevant to its validity. Let me be clear. This doesn't apply to everyone equally. There are people who've earned deep explanation, partners, close friends, mentors. This principle is about everyone else. The critics, the doubters, the casual observers who feel entitled to audit your choices. When someone questions your decision today, resist the urge to justify. Instead, try, "I've thought this through carefully." Watch how the energy shifts. Watch how questions become rare when they yield no defensive responses. Watch how respect grows where approval-seeking used to live. Stop explaining yourself to minds too small to hold your vision. Just move forward, confidently, without apology. Number 2, master the art of strategic silence. If explaining too much is the first way people lose power, speaking too much is the second. We live in a culture that worships expression. Say what you feel. Speak your truth. Share your thoughts. And while there's value in authentic communication, there's far more power in strategic restraint. Most people have no idea how much they undermine themselves simply by talking too much. Machiavelli observed that the most powerful leaders were often the most economical with their words. They understood that silence isn't emptiness. It's weight. It's gravity. It's the space where other people's anxieties and assumptions grow to fill the void, often in ways that serve you better than anything you could have said. Here's the psychology. Humans are deeply uncomfortable with silence. We experience it as tension that demands resolution. When you create silence and remain comfortable within it, you force others to experience that tension alone. And in their discomfort, they reveal themselves. They talk more, offer more, concede more, all to fill the void you've created. Every negotiation expert knows this. The person who can hold silence controls the conversation, even when they're barely speaking. Let me give you a concrete example. You're negotiating salary. You state your number. I'm looking for 120,000. Then you stop. Silence. The hiring manager shifts. The pause stretches. Every instinct screams to fill that silence, to justify your number, to soften it with caveats, to ease the tension. But if you hold that silence, something remarkable happens. The hiring manager feels pressure to respond. And in that pressure, they often respond more favorably than if you'd kept talking. That's higher than we budgeted, but let me see what I can do. You've given them nothing to negotiate against, except the number itself. Now imagine the opposite. You state your number, then immediately follow with, I know that might seem high, but I have experience and the market rate is higher in some places, so I think it's fair, though I'm open to discussion. You've just negotiated against yourself. Your lack of confidence in the silence undermined the very number you stated. Strategic silence also protects you from your greatest enemy, yourself in an emotional state. Every impulsive response you don't give is a mistake you don't make. Every reactive comment you swallow is credibility you maintain. Here's a framework. Before responding to anything charged, criticism, provocation, unexpected questions, count to 5 in your head. This tiny pause disrupts your reactive pattern. It signals careful consideration, and it communicates control. Rushed responses signal anxiety. Measured responses signal power. In group settings, observe before participating. Watch the dynamics. Then when you speak, make it count. One well-placed insight after observation carries more weight than 10 anxious attempts to be heard. The dangerously confident speak when their words add value and remain silent when silence serves them better. Words are tools, not compulsions. Start today. Say half of what you planned. Hold silence 3 seconds longer than comfortable. Watch how power shifts when you stop filling space and start commanding it. Number 3, control your reactions, control your reality. There's a moment that decides everything. It's not when something happens to you. It's the 3 seconds after. Someone insults you. Your boss criticizes your work unfairly. A competitor tries to undermine you publicly. A friend betrays your trust. In those moments, your body floods with emotion. Your heart races. Your face flushes. Every instinct screams to react, to defend, to attack, to justify, to collapse. And here's where most people lose. They react. Immediately, emotionally, honestly. Machiavelli understood something profound about power. The one who adapts his policy to the times prospers, and likewise the one whose policy clashes with the demands of the times does not. Translation: the person who can control their immediate reaction controls the outcome. The person enslaved to their emotions is enslaved to circumstances. This isn't about suppressing feelings. This is about understanding that your first reaction is rarely your best response. Your first reaction is biological: fight, flight, or freeze. It's primitive. It's designed for physical threats, not psychological warfare. And in the modern world, every important battle is psychological. The dangerously confident have mastered something critical: the pause between stimulus and response. In that pause lives all your power. That's where strategy replaces instinct. That's where you choose your response, instead of defaulting to reaction. Think about someone who insulted you publicly. The reactive person immediately fires back. Voice raised, face tight, words sharp. They feel justified. They feel strong in the moment. But what actually happened? They revealed their wound. They showed exactly where they're vulnerable. They gave their opponent ammunition and lost respect from everyone watching. Now imagine the same insult, but this time you pause. 3 seconds. You feel the anger, acknowledge it internally, then choose your response. Maybe it's a calm smile and silence. Maybe it's a measured statement. Interesting perspective. Maybe you even agree partially, disarming them completely. You might be right about that. What's the result? The insulter loses power. They threw their best punch, and you didn't flinch. Everyone watching sees strength, composure, control, and You've kept your dignity, your power, and your strategic advantage. Machiavelli wrote, "He who, blinded by ambition, raises himself to a position whence he cannot mount higher, must thereafter fall with the greatest loss." The person who reacts emotionally has climbed without strategy. They've expended energy without gaining ground. They've shown their hand without winning anything. Here's your practice. When something triggers you today, do nothing for 5 seconds. Breathe. Feel the emotion without expressing it. Then consciously choose how to respond. This isn't weakness. This is the ultimate strength. Because when you control your reactions, you control how situations unfold. When you control how situations unfold, you control your reality. And when you control your reality, you've become dangerously confident in the truest sense. The reactive person is a puppet. The responsive person is a master. Number 4, project certainty, even in uncertainty. Here's an uncomfortable truth. You will spend most of your life not knowing what you're doing. You'll make career decisions without complete information. You'll navigate relationships with imperfect understanding. You'll face challenges you've never encountered before. You'll be uncertain, confused, and genuinely unsure far more often than you're confident and clear. And that's perfectly normal. That's being human. But here's what separates the powerful from the powerless. The powerful never let uncertainty show. Machiavelli observed that leaders who admitted doubt lost followers immediately. Not because doubt itself is fatal, but because humans desperately need someone to follow who appears to know the way. Men judge generally more by the eye than by the hand, he wrote, because it belongs to everybody to see you, to few to come in touch with you. Translation: what people see matters more than what's actually true. Your internal uncertainty is irrelevant if your external projection is certain. This feels dishonest to most people. Shouldn't I be authentic? Shouldn't I admit when I don't know? And yes, there are moments for vulnerability with people you trust deeply. But in most situations, negotiations, leadership, first impressions, competitive environments, admitting uncertainty is handing your power to someone else. Think about a pilot during turbulence. Internally, they might be concerned, calculating, problem-solving intensely. But their voice on the intercom is calm, measured, certain. Folks, we're experiencing some weather. We're going to climb to a smoother altitude. Sit tight. They've projected certainty, and every passenger relaxes. If instead they said, "Honestly, I'm not totally sure what's happening. This is pretty rough. Hopefully we'll be okay," panic would ensue. Same turbulence, different projection, different outcome. Your life works the same way. When you're starting a business and someone asks if it'll succeed, "I'm going to make this work," lands completely differently than, "I hope so, we'll see. I'm pretty nervous, actually." When you're leading a team through change and they're scared, "We're going to navigate this together," creates confidence, while, "I don't know what's going to happen either," creates chaos. Machiavelli understood that certainty is contagious. When you appear certain, others become certain about you. When you project confidence, others place their confidence in you. This creates a self-fulfilling prophecy, where your projected certainty generates real results, which then validates your projection. Here's the key. Projecting certainty isn't lying. It's choosing which truth to emphasize. Yes, you're uncertain, but you're also committed. You're also capable. You're also moving forward. Emphasize that truth. Practice this today. When someone asks if you can do something challenging, replace "I'll try" with "I'll handle it." Replace "I think so" with "yes." Replace "maybe" with "here's the plan." Watch how differently people respond. Your internal doubt is yours to manage privately. Your external certainty is what the world needs to see. Master this distinction, and you master perception itself. Number 5. Build your reputation like a fortress. Machiavelli knew something most people learn too late. Your reputation is your greatest asset or your greatest liability. There is no middle ground. It is necessary for a prince to possess the friendship of the people, he wrote. Otherwise, he has no resource in times of adversity. Your reputation is that friendship. It's what people say about you when you're not in the room. It's the story others tell about who you are. And here's the critical part. You're either actively building that story, or others are building it for you. Most people are passive about their reputation. They think, "I'll just be myself and let my work speak for itself." This is naive. Your work doesn't speak for itself. Other people speak about your work. And what they say depends not just on the quality of your work, but on the narrative surrounding you. The dangerously confident understand that reputation is strategic infrastructure. Like a fortress, it must be built intentionally, maintained constantly, and defended ruthlessly. Think about how reputations actually form. Someone meets you once, forms an impression, then tells 3 other people about you. Those 3 people now have opinions about you, without ever meeting you. One of them repeats the story to 5 more people, adding their own interpretation. Before long, there's a version of you circulating that you've never even encountered. This is happening right now, about you, whether you're aware of it or not. So the question isn't whether to manage your reputation. The question is whether you'll do it intentionally or let it happen accidentally. Here's how to build it strategically. First, decide what you want to be known for, not everything. 1 to 3 core attributes. Maybe it's reliability and strategic thinking. Maybe it's innovation and execution. Maybe it's integrity and results. But choose deliberately, because you can't be known for everything without being known for nothing. Second, demonstrate those attributes consistently in small ways. If you want to be known for reliability, be early to every meeting for 6 months. If you want to be known for strategic thinking, ask one insightful question in every discussion. Reputation isn't built in grand gestures. It's built in repeated patterns that people come to expect from you. Third, protect your reputation fiercely. Machiavelli warned, men ought either to be well treated or crushed, because they can avenge themselves of lighter injuries, but of more serious ones they cannot. Translation: small damage to your reputation can be devastating because people remember and retaliate. One lie destroys trust built over years. One public failure can undo 100 private successes. Your reputation is the story people tell about you. Make it a story of strength, consistency, and certainty. Make it a story so solid that when someone tries to tear it down, the attempt says more about them than about you. Build your fortress, then live inside it with confidence, knowing you've constructed something that protects you, even when you're not present to defend yourself. Number 6, never let them see you struggle. Everyone struggles. Everyone faces obstacles, setbacks, moments of doubt. The difference between those who command respect and those who don't isn't whether they struggle. It's whether anyone sees them struggle. Machiavelli observed that leaders who displayed their difficulties lost authority immediately. A prince must be careful never to make common cause with anyone more powerful than himself, he wrote. But the deeper principle here is about perceived strength. The moment you reveal your weakness, you invite others to exploit it, not always maliciously, but instinctively. Human nature gravitates towards strength and away from struggle. This doesn't mean you can't have hard times. It means you process those hard times privately, with a select few you trust completely, while maintaining your composure publicly. Think about someone going through financial difficulty. Person A posts on social media about how broke they are, complains to co-workers, lets everyone see their stress and panic. Person B faces the same situation, but handles it quietly. They cut expenses privately, work extra hours discreetly, solve the problem behind closed doors. 6 months later, both have recovered. But Person A's reputation never fully recovers. They're forever that person who was struggling. Person B, nobody even knew there was a problem. Their reputation remains intact. The same applies to every struggle. Relationship problems, career setbacks, health challenges, personal failures. You can face all of these, but the dangerously confident face them behind the curtain, while the show continues on stage. This isn't about being fake or isolated. This is about understanding that your public image is a strategic asset that must be protected. Machiavelli wrote, "Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you really are. Your inner circle, your true friends, your family, your trusted advisors. They can experience your full reality. Everyone else needs to see your strength." Here's why this matters psychologically. When people see you struggle, they unconsciously categorize you as vulnerable. Once categorized as vulnerable, you become a target, not necessarily for attack, but for dismissal. People stop considering you for opportunities. They stop seeking your advice. They stop treating you as powerful, because the illusion of your invincibility has cracked. But when you handle struggles privately and emerge publicly unscathed, something magical happens. People assume you're either luckier than them or stronger than them. Either way, you gain respect. When you face difficulty, resist the urge to broadcast it. Resist the temptation to explain why you're off your game. Handle your struggles like classified information, shared only with those who have security clearance to your inner world. Process privately, execute publicly, struggle in the shadows, shine in the spotlight. This is how you maintain dangerous confidence, even during dangerous times. This is how you protect your power when circumstances try to strip it away. This is how you emerge from every battle, looking like you never fought one. Number 7, make them need you more than you need them. Here's the final principle, and it's the most powerful. The person who needs less holds all the power. Machiavelli understood this completely. Whoever believes that great advancement and new benefits cause great personages to forget old injuries is mistaken. But his deeper insight was about dependency. The moment you need someone more than they need you, you've surrendered your leverage. The moment they need you more, you've claimed it. This applies to every relationship, professional, personal, social. The boss who desperately needs an employee to stay gives that employee power. The salesperson who needs the deal more than the client loses negotiating position. The person who needs approval more than others not to give it becomes powerless. The dangerously confident reverse this dynamic deliberately. They build themselves into assets that others need. They develop skills that are irreplaceable. They cultivate relationships where their absence would be felt. They position themselves as scarce resources rather than abundant commodities. Think about how this plays out in a workplace. Most employees make themselves replaceable by doing only what's asked, by being available all the time, by making themselves dependent on the job. The strategically confident employee makes themselves invaluable. They develop specialized knowledge. They build key relationships. They create systems only they understand. They're not trying to be difficult. They're ensuring the company needs them more than they need any single company. In relationships, this principle is equally crucial. The person who brings more value, who maintains their independence, who has options, they're respected and prioritized. The person who clings, who sacrifices everything, who has no life outside the relationship, they're taken for granted. This isn't cynical. This is human nature. we value what we might lose and devalue what we can't lose. Machiavelli wrote, "Upon this one has to remark that men ought either to be well treated or crushed." What he meant was, understand power dynamics clearly. Either you're in a position of strength or you're not. Make sure you are. Here's how to implement this. First, always maintain options. Never let one job, one client, one relationship, one opportunity become your only path forward. Options create confidence. Desperation destroys it. Second, develop skills and relationships that make you valuable to many, but dependent on none. Be the person others call when they need something, not the person constantly making calls, asking for favors. Third, be willing to walk away. This is the ultimate power move. When you're genuinely prepared to lose something, you paradoxically become more likely to keep it on your terms. The dangerously confident are never desperate. They're valuable, they're scarce, they're needed, and in being needed, they command respect, leverage, and power that no amount of wanting, pleading, or trying could ever generate. Make yourself invaluable. Then watch how the world rearranges itself around your value. So here we are. 7 principles from a man who died 500 years ago, yet somehow understood your life better than most people living it with you. Let's be honest about what we've covered today. This isn't the confidence advice you wanted. You probably wanted me to tell you that you're already perfect, that you just need to believe in yourself more, that the world will recognize your worth if you just shine your light. But that's not how power works. That's not how respect is earned. That's not how you become the person who walks into rooms and changes the energy without saying a word. Machiavelli taught us that dangerous confidence is built through strategy, not sentiment. It's constructed through deliberate choices about what you reveal, what you conceal, how you respond, and how you position yourself in every interaction. You've learned to stop explaining yourself to people who haven't earned explanations. You've learned that silence is a weapon more powerful than words. You've learned to control your reactions, so circumstances don't control you. You've learned to project certainty, even when you feel uncertain. You've learned to build and protect your reputation like it's your most valuable asset, because it is. You've learned to struggle privately while succeeding publicly. And you've learned to make others need you more than you need them. These aren't easy principles. They require discipline, awareness, and constant practice. But they work. They've worked for 5 centuries, across every culture, every industry, every type of human interaction. The question now is simple. Will you use them? Will you step into dangerous confidence? Or will you continue being the person who second-guesses, over-explains, and wonders why bolder people keep winning? The choice is yours. The principles are here. The transformation is waiting. Now hit that like button. Share this video with someone who needs to hear it, and drop a comment right now declaring, "I am dangerously confident," because you are. You just needed permission to become it. Now go build your fortress, command your space, own your power. The world is waiting for the dangerously confident version of you.